Hey guys, welcome to our video. We are going to be looking at solving right triangles. Now, I hope you watched the first video on how to use the calculator. I'm going to run through that process here again anyway, but again, make sure you know how to do that. So for solving right triangles, essentially what we're doing is we're trying to find all the missing pieces in this triangle. Now, I want you to notice in this triangle, we're trying to find two sides. So side AC and side BC, and we're trying to find one angle, angle A. We need to find all of these pieces. Now, I would recommend by starting to find one of our sides first. I'm going to start with side AC. The way we do this is first very similar to what we did for trig ratios. We start by circling our angle, right? I know angle B, so I'm starting with angle B. Once I circle that, I can label my sides. First side I like to label is the hypotenuse. Across from the right angle, 11 is our hypotenuse. Our opposite side is across from our angle, the furthest side across. This is our opposite side. Therefore, BC is our adjacent side. Have that also in green. There we go. So now, like I said, we're going to start by finding AC. Now, the way we find AC is we ask ourselves a series of questions, right? We know we have to use a trig ratio, or we're going to be using a trig ratio. We need to figure out what side do I know? What side am I looking for? What ratio uses both of these, right? So what side do we know? We know the hypotenuse, right? We know 11 is the hypotenuse. What side are we looking for? Right, we're looking for AC, and AC is the opposite side. What ratio uses both opposite or hypotenuse and opposite? Well, that's sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So now we can fill in our ratio, just like we did before, right? Sine, remember the angles go inside of sine, or cosine or tangent. Our angle is 60. Our opposite side we do not know. I'm going to call that, let's call it x. I don't know what it is. And our hypotenuse is 11. We have filled in an equation. Now, the way I would recommend doing this is I like to find out what this is as a decimal first. The way we do this in the calculators, we hit on. Actually, let me show you guys how to do it in the Desmos or the calculator in our Schoology group. So if you go to BCPS, right, log in, Schoology, select your course for, I'm going to use geometry here, my A1 class, resources to get you started, calculator folder, and in the calculator folder there are 3 files. Use this, if you're having trouble, watch this video, I show you how to use the calculator. First run the first link, just click on it, it will pop up down here. Boom, see how that popped up down here? Go back to the calculator folder. Select the second link. It's loading, guys. There we go. Run it. Sorry. Now we should be good to go. See, it pops up down here. This you want to click. Now hit browse. and boom, you'll notice mine has a whole bunch because I've downloaded a bunch of times, but select the one that's open for you, finish, and boom, you have a calculator. To get it to open up properly, you can't really see everything, just hit the minimum or the maximize button. I know that seems weird, that makes it smaller, but it'll work. Now, we're going to do mode, make sure you're in the right mode. We're in degrees, so you scroll down to degree, hit enter, right? Second, quit. And now we want sine of 60. Sine 60. Enter. Oh, I should have closed the parentheses, but it'll work here. 0.866. So 0.866 is equal to x over 11. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply. I know you doesn't look like a fraction over here, but remember every number is over 1. So x times 1 is x, and 0.866 times 11, let's go back to our calculator, times 11 equals 9.55. X equals 9.55. So now I can plug into my unknowns. AC is 9.55. We still have another side we have to solve for though, and another angle. But luckily, we're looking pretty good right now. Notice in this triangle, if you know two sides, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. You don't need to use trig again. I can say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And in fact, I know I can say a squared plus 9.55 squared is equal to 11 squared, right? A squared plus, let's do 9.55 squared in our calculator. Clear 9.55 squared, 91.2. 2 is equal to 121. I can take 121 and subtract 91.2. And this gives me a squared is equal to 29.8 square root. Now the way we do that here, second, here's our purple thing, square root of 29.8. And that gives us our missing side, side A, is equal to 5.46. If you know how to find, if you found one side, right, then you know two sides. If you know two sides, use the Pythagorean theorem. We have both sides. The last thing we need to find is our angle. Now, we should know, in this triangle, look how many angles we know. We know 1, 2 angles. If you know two angles in the triangle, we can just take 180 and subtract those two. Subtract 60, subtract 90. That's going to give me 30 degrees. If you ever know two things in a triangle, if you know two angles in a triangle, it's very easy to find the third, 180, right? If you know two sides in a triangle, very easy, use the Pythagorean theorem. You only need to use trig if you can't use these two already. All right, so in the next video, we're going to look at a slightly different example, but this covers how to solve a right triangle that is missing two sides and an angle. Hope you found that helpful. Have a great rest of the day and check out the last video.